Hey y'all, this is Leslie. I have a quick word I want to share with you. The Lord said to me that in this season you are going to see a lot of people moving on, but He's calling His children to move up. Okay, and what I mean by moving on, He gave it to me in this way. When you move on, think of it as a lateral move. For instance, with a job, when you take like a lateral position, that means that it's pretty much equivalent to what you're currently doing or what you were just doing. It's kind of like you're going in a straight line. There's no ebb and flow. There's no up and down. There's really no change. You may stay actually in the same pay grade. You may actually stay doing the same assignment or work or things of that nature. But when you move up, there's an elevation. There is an increase. You're going to bigger and better, as they say. And even this moving up can come with testing, right? If you think of it again in the sense of a job, sometimes in order to go to another position, a higher position, you have to do testing or prove that you have the knowledge base or the understanding to be able to perform the duties of said position. God says that He is moving some of us, His children, again, up, up. You'll see many people who also, I won't say that they claim to be, but they are children of God, but they haven't been listening. This is going to take discernment to be able to understand that this is a season for you to move up and not just on. There are a lot of people who are moving quickly, and they have to discern. What they're not doing is discerning if their movements are of God or if they're the enemy. I had a dream once, and I want to share this because the enemy, as we know, mimics a lot of things that God does. And he wants things to happen. And I'm going back to marriage. You will see a lot of marriages happening in this season, and not all of them are of God. This is what I'm talking about, moving on instead of moving up. God will elevate you. God wants your marriage to bring elevation and increase, right? Fruitfulness. But a lot of people are just going to be simply moving on. They're not going to be going anywhere. There's no maturation. There will be no fruit from this thing. It will simply be from them moving from one person to the next. And this person is not elevating them or increasing them in any way. They're actually just in the same situation, just a different face, okay? And I want to go back to where I was saying that the enemy moves quickly. I had a dream a couple of years ago. And in this dream, there was a spirit. It was like a blue spirit. And it made me kind of think of Sonic the Hedgehog. And it was moving very fast. If you've ever seen a movie or the cartoon with Sonic the Hedgehog, he moves really fast from place to place. And he moves so fast that it's almost like you can still see his blue body or shadow, if you will, here, and he's already over here. It's like zig zag, right? Zig zag. In the dream, I saw a spirit that was doing something very similar, and the Lord reminded me of the Artful Dodger from the movie Oliver, because this spirit was not a spirit of God. Okay, this was a spirit from the enemy, and it was moving very quickly as it was stealing the promises of God from the people of God. Okay, it was a thief. And there's a thief that we know that comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Well, he is stealing promises, and they are going to look very reminiscent of what God is doing, right? Kingdom spouses, covenant spouses, kingdom marriages. And so there's going to be, Rebecca, there's demonic marriages that are happening, and they're happening quickly. And people are going to believe that because it's happening so quickly, that it must be God, because there was no formal waiting period and things like that. Now, God is doing the same thing, but it's of God. And there are many that are going to be mimicking. The enemy is mimicking what God is doing. And again, this goes back to the counterfeits, to make people believe that they're in right standing and they're with the right person. And it can look very close. That's why it's a moving on, because it's very close to what you were doing before. It's still a lateral position, and it looks good, but it's not good because it's not God. You definitely have to take this back to God. You definitely have to sit with this word and be vigilant over it. I'm going to keep saying be alert, be vigilant, and be of sober mind, because the enemy really is prowling around like a lion looking for whom he can destroy and devour. He's doing this in a way that is not as easy to discern as in times past. this is going to be, many of these marriages are going to be with people who you really can't tell that there's something off, that there's something wrong. It's just a little bit. It's just a little bit of yeast. You can't tell until it's too late, until after that covenant has been made, until after previous covenants have been broken, okay? So it's very, very, very important that you sit with God before you make any moves. Things are going to be happening quickly, and you have to be able to quickly discern, is this God or is this the enemy, okay? You don't want to be one of the people who are just simply moving on. You want to be one of the people who are moving up, okay? And I'm not saying that anything specifically bad is going to happen to those that are moving on, but if it's not who God has ordained you to be with, you know what I mean? That ain't a good thing. So in this season, many people are going to move on, and it's going to look like it's a good thing. Time will reveal that it's not. It's simply a lateral move. God wants his children to move up. Marriage should elevate you. Marriage should increase you. Marriage should make you fruitful. If you're staying here, if nothing has changed, if there has been no progress, if there has been no increase, then you might as well have stayed where you were. Does that make sense? It does. Okay, so that's the word. Talk to y'all later.